Mm. Did you change the color of the chart?
Yeah, it looks good.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah, is it stable and nice?
Yep, I think it's all good.
Super. So, as I just posted, as you can maybe see now, you should see that I switched to Discord. And as you see in the channel AlphaBlock TA, this was actually no, those are my first 5 minutes back in the markets because I thought it's cool to be in that process together. So I can also kind of show like how I'm doing that, but to start it off, for me, it's really like just starting with the higher time frames. Let's just say it like this, and really going to Bitcoin only before listening or doing anything else. And I mean, for me, it has been roughly a week. So it's nothing too crazy, which means that if you are on really the high time frames like daily and zoom out or anything, uh, obviously the macro trend did not change. And I think for the first steps, it's the most interesting to just check Bitcoin always without anything else, without looking like on the USD strength or anything um, on the 4 hour chart like this, because in my opinion, it can help you determine showing where we are right now and what the next moves are in the most reliable and in the best ways. Um, because like I joined when I heard you answering the question, like, okay, how does BTC look for you? And you and me have like a pretty similar stance on this, as we are at 90, 89,000, 90,000, 91,000, um, and still technically in a high time frame downtrend. But as you also said and saw, and as we can all see, is we have been in a down only trend more or less, which has been horrific um, since October, and now for the first time in 3 months, it has been the first time we have not been down only, right? And we are just kind of chopping while we are hitting the top of basically everything really major, as like the Bollinger Bands, the EMA 200, or the ATR bands, which indicate us like the movements between the average the average trend together with volatility and relative strength. So while we have been sideways and in a bounce, the thing is just that if we check it right here, let me quickly draw that in. Here was or is the ultimate point of control in this current range, while you have here the bottom as well as the top of this current range, with another point of control forming here, which is also the top side of our bands, of the ATR bands, similar to the Bollinger Bands. Here, the downside here will be another point of control. So we are rejecting, like we are starting to reject off of that, which is where I believe is a perfect place, and which is something where I will be, or I am interacting again with trades that I do believe until it probably around the 5th of January. It will make sense to reshort, to have an attempt to reshort from here, like this. Same as buying down again. One, if we would have broken down, let's say we have broken down again from here, where it would make sense to buy something around 86, 87, same as selling around 90,000. I think those two are probably the best trades that you can have. What do you think? Do you think that makes sense? Does this align with what you are saying? Is this something that you think makes a lot of sense? Because for me it does.
Yeah, I think as long as we're going sideways like this, it makes sense to trade the range in this way. Personally, I wanted to see us clear some of these lows before we went up.
Yeah,
So kind of, back down to around 84K would have been nice because then I feel like the upside potential would have been higher.
yeah,
Now it looks like we're doing the opposite, right? We're gonna clear these all these highs, around the 91K area, and then um, potentially we see much lower. Uh, so I
yeah,
think when the range breaks, we're likely to break to the downside, but um, we have to see how it plays out around the points of control.
yeah, right on.
I think the short from 91K could be very juicy.
That is true. Like I think really by far the highest risk to reward is exactly from this. Also, if we check now on the daily on Bitcoin, we can see a shooting star, like a classic. Like it doesn't matter if it would be right here or there, but you have quite classic patterns, candlestick patterns, behavior in trader, behavior in the participants. Also, if you check X, if you just catch up a little bit with the people, like what you are seeing is that people seem to be heavily devastated, like not giving up. No one is giving up, I would say, on the macro. But for now, something that you repeatedly read is, oh, I think farming airdrops right now is not really worth it. I think the golden era of airdrops was over. Uh, why do people say this? Just because right now we are still in the downtrend, but I think all those what you hear, that you hear it, together with the fact that we have such a low on-chain volume right now, technically means, and this is where it gets very positive, I think, for how much I believe your time invested into the markets is worth it. That this combination means that paying attention right now, investing your capital and your time into farming airdrops, into using protocols, into trading, into honing your skills, makes it far more worth it, as that means that you have less competition. So your volume right now makes you jump the leaderboards quicker than in a bull market. And I think this is something quite beautiful that you just know, okay, cool, if I log in, chances that it pays off for me and for my friends is just given and is just higher, which has nothing to do with how price develops, right? So do we also think that reshorting here has a higher potential of bringing you trading profits and bringing your profits overall? because we are still in the downtrend. And technically, the worst thing, I think that highlights it pretty well. I'm here on the daily. I can go to the 3 day. Doesn't matter. The level here stays the same. Um, in my opinion, we kind of want to see the rejection right now because it makes the bearish trend end sooner. Like the worst thing that could, because we're still like in the mid range on a macro, and if we just continue it like here and again hit the bottom, then it just what happened here right now for the first time in 3 months is for the first time we did not have a free fall after free fall, right? Because what simply happened here, I mean this obviously the fall from 125K to 80K. Here you saw Bitcoin lose $45,000, 36% within only 48 days. So in 1.5 months, we basically erased half of the whole bull run. That was crazy, horrible. And what happened now, what you can clearly see, we had a bounce, 48 days, yeah, downside. And now we had 41 days of sideways and a slight recovery, which clearly indicates to you that this horrific downtrend has cooled off so much. And this is the interesting thing in my opinion. Right now, people seem to be the most devastated on the timeline. It seems like we went down only for the last 1.5 months, but I think that is very interesting as this is not true, right? In the last 41 days, like the same time it took us for Bitcoin to lose a third of its value. Bitcoin lost a third of its value within 48 days, followed by 41 days, not of up only, but up and sideways. And people right now act like it's worse than before. And these are usually signs that we are far closer to a bottom, to a macro bottom, than people want to admit or can see. Because if price would just go up now, almost no one would be prepared for it. Like maybe we all bought a little bit of spot again. But like I also admit, even though I see this, I don't have nearly as much coins as I had here. Like obviously we gave the analysis and we prepared people for this, and I cashed out over 70% of my crypto in the last few months, also before the new happened, where we're all like quite happy that we did it. But the thing is just we will be nearing the point probably soon. Okay, we will be going down more. I'm pretty certain of this, but not in the extent of time that we have been going down. I don't believe that. And people will not be ready for the recovery because we are in a downtrend for, or when we are here, let's say January, February, like somewhere here should be something of like the current bottom. I'm not saying the bottom forever, but somewhere around here, I do believe that price will see a very nice recovery. Be it from 70K or 80K, that does not really matter. But I do believe that at somewhere around here, we will see some quite significant rally again, okay? Probably before the macro downtrend continues. Because if you just look about the harmonics and base Fibonacci retracement, you can see if somewhere here is somewhat of a macro, like not macro, but medium term bottom, then we have aligning. The neckline of the nuke with the point of control. This is the white line here. The point of control of the last year of trading, together with the bottom, with the absolute cycle top, with here. This aligns with the golden pocket, with the EMA 200, with all those levels. So it's quite likely, in my opinion, that somewhere here between 80 and 70K, we will see a significant 30-40% rally before we maybe decide to print a macro bottom way lower before new all-time highs. Because do not forget, somewhere around here starts this classic
Oh,
year for the next halvening. So I think macro, something like this, is the most likely, as this also would tend to hurt by far the most market participants. But it would be quite normal because somewhere here we will have the next halving. Usually half a year or a year before the halving, you already print the macro bottom. And I think this is quite nice to also here you see all the major levels align. The top of the last bull cycle is again the point of control, which could be the the bottom, next support, followed by the next cycle top. And this would also print something like a head and shoulders, be it from here, there, then you have the right shoulder, right. So this is something that I can really see playing out. What I think what makes sense, you would respect basically all major levels. The rally would still continue while you have a US president that's quite bullish or positive on crypto. And you basically have all major levels respected, which is one of the core reasons why it also did not matter for me like to take a break right now, as those levels do not change just because you're quite away from the screens, but it also kind of aligns with people doing some tax loss harvesting right now. They sold off. What we also see, unfortunately, is a quite bad reaction on hype because we also have the token unlock. So that has nothing to do with me being macro bullish. So it still holds true that I think somewhere here buying spot is great, but my spot buyings are also down a little bit as I started buying at $26 a little bit. Um, Not horrible, but yeah, still waiting for the bigger fills around $20. Think we can draw those even here, just as a little update from the last streams. But this is where I kind of see us going on the macro. I'll quickly post this to the community.
I think one thing you said there is very important. If if we have a significant rally here, it doesn't mean the bear market is over.
Yeah,
We could go as high as 110, 115K and still make a new bottom later in the year.
exactly. Absolutely. what do you think about lighter? How much do you think it will take market share of Hype or other exchanges? And did you hear about NATO?
Yeah, um I'm not bearish on lighter. I think long term I'm bearish on everything except for Hyperliquid. Um,
Okay.
but while the market is here and while everyone's kind of looking at the perp dexes, it's lighter's definitely attractive. Like I hear some interesting things. Like their founder is an advisor to Robinhood. They have obviously very very strong links with institutions. So you can't write them off. Um, I don't expect it to capture. I mean, the volume has already dropped off significantly. Once the airdrop came, you see the outflows from the platform. It's massive. So people are already moving on and moving on to something else.
It's
Um,
crazy. Yeah, good point.
yeah, I think Hyperliquid is obviously the strongest, and I think it's gonna stay that way. Like I'm looking for them to grow their market cap. Um, Lighter is cool. So Nado is the Kraken one, right? So this is also interesting. It's um yeah, so Kraken's launching or have launched their blockchain, I think the Ink chain. And I guess Nado is their perp dex. So I guess it's kind of similar to like Binance and Asta. But again, like that didn't turn out fantastic either.
Horrible.
So yeah, I think and because it's a centralized exchange that's launching a decentralized exchange product, it's kind of less meaningful in terms of decentralization than Hyperliquid, which is decentralized from the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've just captured so much market share. They're gonna go back to the number one spot. I think Lighter held number one in volume for some time. That's obviously because of the points program, which is finished. So we expect to see Hyperliquid regain that number one spot. And I think now it's going to hold it indefinitely. I don't think anything will ever overtake it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfectly summarized, I think. Of course, everything we speak about right now is just our opinion, but I think it's quite clear that you cannot fake the statistics, especially given, let's say, how you can try to hide, and this has nothing to do with the blockchain, but you can try to hide your true market numbers. And I think a core part of the real valuation of exchanges, of course, is amount of users divided, or like total volume per day and per month divided by the total amount of users and wallets. And then you need to break this down to real unique users, because obviously everyone is always trading with more than one account, as we always try to like optimize the airdrops. And a big problem if a centralized exchange is launching a decentralized exchange and a token and a points program, then you already know that an immense amount of capital is basically seen as marketing budget in the form of wash trading to make the exchange look better. And we all knew how much wash trading is going on there, on Binance, with through Binance on Aster, which is the reason that once we all had the chance to really farm the airdrop, still you heard basically no true success story of people that say, wow, Aster changed my life, how it maybe was with Hyperliquid. And now you have Kraken and NATO.
that do it way worse, that you cannot even trade on there. Like I'm also trying to get for a few people that are interested just to get a referral link so people can trade there. But now same as everyone else, has to print $1 million in trading value and volume um, to get one referral. So you already know, like all the people that have 10, 20 links, this is some insider bullshit again of like just the big influencers that have some business deals with them, have the referrals for you. So once you have even a chance to do your first 1 million or 10 million in volume, um, the biggest allocation of the early alpha has been already given to the people. Whereas Hyperliquid back then made you do $10,000 in value, in volume, to get endless referrals. And this is a little bit weird to see that behavior, that it's getting harder and harder to even start airdrop farming where you already know, like, okay, this is not so organic. Like that being said, of course, I have an account that I'm trading on NATO right now because it's the early alpha, but I think this is just an example for diminishing returns, as well as you had Polymarket, which is great, and maybe Calci, which also seems great, and the products are nice. But now I already saw a good friend of mine posting that he was like, "Yeah, I tried out the prediction market of Binance," where I'm just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, Binance just waited for everyone to launch a DEX, then they did the Aster DEX, and now that they had Aster Season 2 out, the new meta is prediction market, so Binance now also has a prediction market. You open Phantom Wallet, they have a prediction market on Phantom. There is a prediction market on Jupiter. Like, it's just over and over and over, everyone copying everyone else's platform and trying to steal each other's market share. Um, I do not think this will lead to anything great. Like, whereas it's worth our time to like at least try it out and have like one wallet to try to farm it. And I still think this behavior is alpha and will create money for you. It's just shocking to see that everyone is just copying each other's products, quickly copy pasting it. You also know how, and also if you see some of the code, um, you can clearly see that also now with Claude and all those other AI, let's call it platforms, that developers just wait something is out and then they basically ask AI to like kind of copy the code so you can also quickly launch the product and all look the same. And because that's no coincidence, because if Binance really would have wanted to make a prediction market by themselves, they would have done it 4 months ago and not now that they can just copy and steal the code of others. It makes no sense. Why would Binance not launch any product for years? And now they have Astra, now a prediction market. Why does Kraken need a DEX just to stay relevant? Kraken also bought the prop trading platform Breakout, which is, I think, the only good prop trading platform that is not a scam, but still, it's kind of crazy. Everyone is just copying each other, which is another clear sign of a bear market. But overall, probably the only true prediction markets that will be great and will keep the market share will be Polymarket and Kalshi, as well as the only real DEX is and will be Hyperliquid. And I think that kind of sums all that up, just how the reality looks like.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another important thing you said, it doesn't mean we can't farm these things and still profit from them. I think neither of us are saying you shouldn't farm NATO, you shouldn't farm, Ethereal or whatever perp decks you're looking at. It's free money, right? Do the volume and take the airdrop. And um, mostly what I'm saying is I think long term hype is one of the most attractive cryptocurrencies to accumulate during the bear market. Um, we've seen the only use case that crypto has found and done well, is basically trading, or some form of like monetary transfer, right? So it's like trading or payments, is really the only thing that crypto has found and become good at. You know, following that, it's like what are the things that come out of that? It's that you have Hyperliquid, which is like the best decentralized exchange. You have a lot of these like credit cards now as well, that are really really attractive. So kind of following on the payments side, I think what we're seeing now is that the L1 market has become very saturated, and it's very hard to find new L1s to invest in that you think will have potential. Like look at Monad, look at Mega ETH. All these ICOs are doing quite poorly. So you look at the applications, you look at which applications are doing well. It's like the finance and the trading, um, and then what are the leaders in those, and that's what I'm going to buy during the bear market. And it's basically just hype. Um, that's kind of my opinion. And also with Hyperliquid, uh, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with like the builder code model that they have. It's like you know as a builder, you can build a front end for Hyperliquid and then kind of collect fees off that. So this is what Phantom Perps is. Based is the same. Infinex have a perp, and it's all just Hyperliquid in the background. Um, but the kind of where people are taking that is you look at Hyperunit and what they're doing with Trade XYZ, where they're focusing on equity perpetuals. So this is kind of brand new stuff, and I think this is why another reason why Hyperliquid is going to be so dominant is they have this model where you can leverage all of their liquidity and their market makers and just create a front end and then find new users. Um, so yeah, I'm bullish Hyperliquid, long term bearish on other exchanges, but it doesn't mean you can't farm them and profit off them in the meantime.
Yeah.
Speaking about finances, what do you think about parking some of stables currently in like stables DeFi plays like from Kaito, not Kaito, Camino and other things like that?
I think it's the yeah, I think it's a very valuable thing to do, right? I wouldn't do it on Camino. So Camino's kind of the safest one, right? You put your money in Camino, pretty, you can be pretty much 100% certain you're not going to lose that money. Uh,
Yeah.
they're very very safe, but it means you get slightly less yields, and they've also their points program nowadays is kind of worthless.
Hmm.
Um, I'm putting most of my money in Loopscale and Hilo on Solana. It's a little more risky, right? Loopscale had an exploit back when they first launched. They fixed it, they refunded all their users and everything. Um, but it's not a mature protocol like Camino. Uh, but yeah, so there's like that's the more like passive version of airdrop farming, right? You just put your money there, you get some good yield, and on top of that, you get some points, which I kind of look at as just like a yield boost, right? If it's like 10% yield on my stables, but I'm getting all these points, maybe the APY when they TGE turns out to be 40-50% APY, which is fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
So
kind of how.
can you drop a links of this other than loop scale one? Like
Yeah,
in a
there's a
free time
Don.
later or something.
Yeah, I think uh, Don kind of dropped one yesterday, actually. I'm
What?
just gonna. Uh, I'm dropping a link to it in the chat here. Just like a bunch of the protocols that he's farming. So a lot of these are kind of passive ones where you just deposit your money. So you can go and look at
Mhm.
all of them, um, and see where the yields are good. But all of these I think will be a decent airdrop. Maybe we can do something where we kind of give our opinion on and try to rank them on what's going to be.
Yeah, that would be really valuable. I mean, I
Yeah.
have some of my stables, most of my stables currently in Camino, but as you said, their point program is pretty fucking useless.
Yeah, their points program is useless now. With Camino, it's good for like I think like a lot of whales use it. Sorry, one sec. Yeah, because you can put like hundreds of millions of dollars in there, and you know that that money is safe. Whereas with these less mature protocols, it's different. But for us, when we're trying to put a few hundred or a few $1,000s in, and we want to try and amplify that significantly, the newer protocols are much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's kind of all we're looking at for airdrops these days. It's just perp dexes and then kind of these passive yield farms. If anyone knows of anything, I guess we got poly market and prediction markets as well, but we don't know when or if they will have a TGE. So yeah, if anyone is farming anything like more interesting, do let us.
Yeah, I think otherwise other platforms just like yes, NATO can be interesting, but you don't park your money there, same as Polymarket and Kalshi, which are just active and not really passively. Um, Avantis platform is quite nice for trading, and they also have a good vault system where you can provide liquidity for their decks um, that can make you like 0.5 to 1% yield on your stablecoins per month, which is quite decent. So this can also give you points for their airdrop. I will just drop the link um, as well. But yeah, I think those are the platforms. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like my point of view is kind of that in such uh, not comfortable market waves, let's call it this way, the parking stables for cheaper opportunity to buy some Bitcoin, some Solana is good to just yield it and just chill a bit, and it's a kind of vacation time. So that at least that was my way of thinking for the current period of time.
Yeah, definitely. I just checked the real-time price action on Bitcoin and ETH. Like, it's crazy how much we just went up or down in the same scammy candles. Like, unbelievable. We just nuked and bounced 2% within the last hour, up and down both. What the fuck?
Crazy.
I guess the market makers are back from the holidays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm still looking for that 91K ish to short. I think anything from here for me is bad risk reward. I already got chopped around a bit in this range. Yeah, this particular range over the holidays, I don't know why I was trying to trade this. To be honest, it didn't go very well for me, but uh, yeah, just waiting for a better opportunity now.
Yeah. So this is also why I mapped out the levels. Of course, like I start engaging a little bit as we have the stream, as I'm looking at at this stuff, as you must be testing waters to just feel the market. Like, is it feeling properly again or not? But as we said, no, multiple times, the level that you just said for shorting, as well what I mapped out for buying, it's quite clear that you want price to be a bit lower to buy and it must be a bit higher to buy. What I just found a little bit compared to others is how XMR Monero um, started looking stronger than other coins often, which also fitted and fits in the overall market thesis. How we saw Zcash being incredibly strong, as you also see so many fucked up laws from so many countries um, that want to force you. I think UK is also one of them that want to force you to share all your wallets with the government, or they will do this and that, or put you in jail. I think this is a comparable unlawful behavior from the governments. Is the same stuff what they did to us with COVID, because they taking all your human rights by forcing you to show, not only show all your wealth, but to force you to share it with everyone by basically forcing you to be completely naked in front of everyone. Every single transaction must be laid open. This, it's crazy that those are in exclamation marks laws, because it, at least for Germany and other countries, it it breaks all the biggest laws of a human, because it takes the humanity and all your human rights and your freedom from you. As this cannot be true. You, they want to put you into jail if you do not show them every transaction you do in life. Like, this is completely horrible, because it basically means that every one of us is being treated as a criminal just for existing. And this is crazy.
It's yeah. I've multiple times explored, moving to a different part of the world where it's always going to be trade-offs, but like, the countries that in the West, it's like the government is there to govern. It's not producing more value than that, right? Whereas, in other parts of the world where you have more of a kind of a, it's closer to a dictatorship, but you have like these state-owned programs that, you know, uh, produce a ton of value for that country, and because of that, they're able to give their citizens more of those financial freedoms because they don't rely so much on taxing their people to survive. Like the government in these places that we're living in, or I'm living in, it's like it has to do these things to keep itself alive. It's not necessarily doing it because it's good for the people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, you're right, and sadly, this is correct. Yeah,
It's like we got to collect taxes so that we can keep paying the salary of the people that run the government. And yeah, it's like it's very hard to. They're in it. We've put ourselves in this position where that's kind of how these countries function. Um, yeah, it's tough. Anyways, I was thinking for kind of for the sessions next week and onwards, maybe we can add a new section of this call where we kind of try and teach people from like first principles what you're looking at in these charts, and maybe going kind of as early as how do you get set up on TradingView, how do you read a candlestick chart, maybe starting from as simple as that, and then we kind of move on to more advanced concepts. And then because these are all being recorded, I think what we can then do is go back and like create clips and short videos covering each concept to start with, um, and then we end up with like a library of something.
Yeah, I really liked it. Let's do it like this. Yeah, this
Well,
is
I
a
think
great
I can
idea.
probably write up like a list of things we should cover, and then we spend maybe just 10-15 minutes at the start doing that, and then we move on with the rest of the stuff. And then we'll take the recordings, we'll create some clips and some videos, and maybe we can kind of cross post it on Infinite and on AlphaBlock.
Yeah, definitely. I think that sounds perfect. Let's do that.
Cool, man. It was good to catch up with you and everyone else here. I've got to run now, but yeah, we'll
Same.
do it again next week, and hopefully we everyone's getting back locked in again, and we'll be sharing more trading setups and the like in the chats here.
Yeah, been great, and yeah, have a great start into the new year. Been great catching up, and hopefully see you soon.
See ya.